Hi friends, it's Anna. I am a day later than I typically would be recording my empties. I typically record on Saturdays. I'm instead recording on Sunday evening this week. Long story short, starting at 4 p.m. Thursday, my favorite little radio station, literally in all of radio that I know of, started their 32nd annual share-a-thon. They're a completely listener-supported station. This is the one time a year they get on air and they share their needs for the station for a year's operation, and they ask people to pledge the money to sustain the operation. But it's also been so beautifully described by the station manager, Brother Ken Johns, and by the fact that I just called him Brother Ken Johns, you will know, yes, it is a Christian radio station. It's Word Christian Broadcasting in Douglasville here in Georgia. WCB Radio, if you're interested. iPhone people, I'm putting the plug in here for them. Even though we're going to do wax empties, I have to put this plug in. iPhone people, they already have an app. Android people, yours is coming sometime this week. I will share it in the next empties that I do when the Android link is available. You'll go to your app store. iPhone people will go to our app store. We'll search WCB. Then hit your space key and type in the word radio and hit search. And the app's going to come up. It's powered by Live 365. It tells you all about the broadcast you're hearing or the song that's playing or whatever on the screen at all times. It'll show you a list of 8 previously played songs, the previous 8. It's amazing. This app, it only came out this weekend in time for the share-a-thon on Thursday afternoon when they started for us iPhone users. And Android people, like I said, yours is coming. But I'm so excited about it. They started their share-a-thon, and it's a beautiful little radio station. It's all King James when it comes to scripture, which is, again, I don't try to get really strong on belief systems on here, but that is my personal belief, is that King James is the only true Bible, as well as my church's belief. So it's special to have a fully King James station around, because while 104.7 The Fish is great, A, they're super contemporary. B, they're often not King James when they do share scripture. The same thing with Bill Gaither. Now, I love Gaither. I love Bill Gaither, and I love Gaither Homecoming stuff. But Bill Gaither's Enlightened Satellite Radio, again, great Southern Gospel music, but a lot of the scripture is not King James, so it makes me nervous when there's programs that are scripture heavy, and I'll turn it off. So I've got WCB, Word Christian Broadcasting, WCB Radio, and I've been listening to them since 2012, and to see how far they've come in that time is amazing. When I started listening to them in 2012, I had to create the shortcut on my home screen myself to go to their internet stream, because an app wasn't even in their thought process. So to have come in 12 years, they have made some great strides. Now, they've been around for 32 years, so they've really made some great strides since then. They went from 1 a.m. only station to, first off, it was then 2 a.m. stations and then 3 a.m. stations. And then I guess it's been 3 or 4. No, I guess it would have been, I can't remember if it was 2 or 3 years ago. They were able to acquire 2 FM stations, 102.1 and 104.9 FM, and broadcast through the FM, which gives them a 24-hour-a-day option. When they got their last AM station, which was Noonan, AM 1300, they were able to put an internet stream online, which the internet stream was 24 hours. Great. And it was, like I said, I've been listening since 2012 and I've loved it. But they came out with this app, and that's just amazing to me. But it was Share-a-thon weekend, and Brother Ken describes it so beautifully what Share-a-thon is. He says Share-a-thon is a revival service, a homecoming service, and a carnival all rolled into one. And it really is. Share-a-thon becomes a time when they do a lot. They do 25 hours of live broadcasting where they're actually live in the studio the whole time, rather than just, some of it they pre-record and then they can do it from remote studios at home or whatever. Not during Share-a-thon. And the remote studio thing only really came out of COVID. But not during Share-a-thon. That's always live. And recently they've been able to put all of the live feeds onto YouTube the last few years. Another thing that came out of COVID that was actually a positive. And so actually, people like me who have, as of yet, not been able to go to the studios and meet everybody like I want to. Some of the people that are only there during Share-a-thon and they only help during Share-a-thon. But I really want to go meet them. And I've not been able to do some of that like I really want to. But I can turn on a YouTube stream and I can watch it. I can see them. And so now I know and I recognize the people. And it's so special. It's been so special the last few years to have the YouTube stream. And Share-a-thon weekend started at 4 p.m. on Thursday. Lord, this was supposed to be quick, and I'm already almost 10 minutes in, and we haven't even talked one single fragrance item. I'm sorry, y'all, just bear with me. You know where you are, and this is my channel, and you know how I am. They started at 4 p.m. on Thursday. They kicked off Share-a-thon. And the way Ken describes it, it's a revival service, a homecoming service, and a carnival all rolled into one, is the perfect description. And it's such a beautiful description of what Share-a-thon weekend really is. Because it's the one time a year that they really have the time to spend with their listeners. Can I call during any other day of the week and talk to them? Yes, and I do. Oh my word, I love Ken's sister, Miss Judy, has my favorite broadcast. Probably out of everything they run. For 2 hours every weekday. From 3 to 5 p.m. She does music with a message. Miss Judy used to be the only part of the station I listened to, and then the more I listened to her and the more she talked about things, the more I started listening to, and oh my gosh, I love them. They're like family to me now, all of them. But I love that 3 to 5 show. I love Miss Judy. I will call Miss Judy often during her show. And she will program like a 15-minute segment of songs. And this is what she would do anyway. So she'll program like a 15-minute segment of songs, and then she'll chat with me. But she's constantly watching the clock because she knows she's got to be back in there programming more songs. Not during Share-a-thon, because they bring in all the help. Now, they do only have 2 phone lines, and they do want people to call and pledge, but they'll say if the phone lines are busy, just try again. They do not rush you off the phone during Share-a-thon. Plus, there's comments on Facebook Live, comments on YouTube Live. They have a number you can text, which you can text them year-round at that number. This station is beautiful. They do live prayer time, Bible reading, Bible study, preaching broadcasts, good gospel music. But Share-a-thon is my favorite because it's the time that we really get to spend those 25 hours every single year. I get to spend with some people that I consider some of my dearest friends, even though I don't get to see a lot of them like I would like to. Is it that Share-a-thon? And so Thursday from 4 to 7 p.m. they were live with Share-a-thon. Then they took the live off air. They were back on air live at 8 a.m. Friday morning, went till 7 p.m. Friday evening, and then did the same thing again yesterday on Saturday the 14th. 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. And we were over $50,000 pledged so far for the year. Now, the goal is $85,000, and they'll count pledges all the way to the end of October. This is how they always do Share-a-thon, because they know people mail in their pledges from all over because of the internet stream. We literally have people that listen in Australia to the radio station and pledge and, support. We have people in Germany that they were saying were listening, that they're expecting a pledge card from, and so they wait until all of the mail for October has come in. In the very beginning of November, they give us a total what was raised. Now, through these last couple weeks of September and all the month of October, they'll update about once a week, and they'll run a little spot, usually at the top of every hour, along with their FCC legal stuff, that will tell us where the current totals are. I love that. I spend my 3 to 5 shows for these next 6 weeks living for those top of the hour reports on where the totals are. I love it. And yes, I do support them. In more than just word of mouth, I do a small financial contribution each year. I do not have the ability to give large amounts because of a very fixed income with disability. But I do support them every year, and I love it. And so it was Share-a-thon weekend, and it was crazy, and they went off at 7 o'clock yesterday, and then I had to call Ken and his wife Sally and make sure, please be careful. That's the part of Share-a-thon that I hate, is because I know how tired they are. I worry about everybody getting back home. So I call. I'm making so many calls right at the end of Share-a-thon. And then I had to get ready for church today, and I always take my shower and get everybody ready. We do a shower rotation and get everybody ready on Saturday night, because it just makes Sunday morning so much smoother if we've done as much as we can to get ready ahead of time. So by the time I had done all that, I was like, oh, shoot, I didn't record my empties. So, okay, I said long story short, it turned into long story long. We're 15 minutes into this. But that is why. But hey, I gave the radio station a good plug, so maybe I'll share this video on their Facebook page and they can see that even in everyday things I'm sharing about them. But that is why I'm a day late with my wax empties, fragrance empties. Honestly, I'm a little disappointed in my amount of empties this week, but I'm not at all disappointed in my amount of melting because I have been melting steadily, and I have a lot of things that are close to empties. Just not there yet. And they will get there. It's just a slow and steady progress. But I do have a few empties to talk about, so I wanted to go over them. First off is I did use up another cotton cleanup. And we've talked about these before. I use these things to the maximum. And that's why I only saved these, because they're so full of wax I don't want to put them into my empties bucket. So I'll peel these tops off. When I peel the tops off to use the other side, then this is clean, and that's what I display in my empties bucket. But I did use a cotton cleanup. I did put one wallflower bulb, the end of the oil, into my diffuser this week. This was a bulb in Lakeside Morning that I used the end of. I do have one more of these in my bedroom waiting to be used because it just emptied out this weekend. So the next time I need to refill my oil, I will probably do another Lakeside Morning. I just love this. It's a way to not waste the oils. I do have 3 wax testers. These were gifts from Martha at Martha's Fragrance Corner. And you guys know that what I did with the lids. So none of these have the lids, but that's actually why Martha sent me a big old bag of testers, is because I was like, hey, I knew she was trying to clear out some testers, and I'm like, I save all my lids for my testers as a part of this. And I had directed her to some other videos where I talked about what I do with the cancer center and how we help them with the lids. And she sent me a big old bag of testers so that I could use the testers. She went through and she pulled out some that either she had more duplicates of than she needed, or she just didn't care for the wax. And she sent me a big old bag of testers, and I'm going through them when I can, when they fit challenges and things. And I do have 3 of those this week. And so that means, Martha, thank you for the contribution of 3 more lids into the Cancer Project with Publisher Parish Printing Ministry. I did on September 11th. Patricia Gates had said it was a free melt day for 9/11. Martha had a challenge going too, and I can't remember what our thing even was on the 11th, but I needed to change wax in 2 rooms. So I used a Mahalo coconut tester in my bathroom in the mini warmer to, let me see, let me just grab I've got my list here. So, and for the 11th for Martha, it was a sawdust or barnwood note challenge. So I used 2 squares of Sassy Girl Aroma Sawdust Days. And I did that in my bedroom. I have 2 more squares of Sawdust Days that I will use in another warmer one day, probably in October, just to get it out. But for free melt qualification for the challenge, I could have just said Sawdust Days was my melt. But I needed to change 2 rooms anyway, so I put Mahalo coconut in my bathroom in the mini warmer. I have also discovered recently that the testers do work beautifully in the Snow White wishing well warmer, because that wishing well dish is not a super deep dish as far as getting back, to pull the tester back up. So one day recently, Patricia's challenge was to melt a pear scent. So I did a tester of Perfect Day. And then actually for tonight, her challenge was a nighttime scent. So I have a tester here of Lavender Cotton. Really, really sad to see Lavender Cotton go, but we do have other beautiful lavender scents that I love, and some of them are in my club. So it's not like I won't have lavender scents from Scentsy. There's also L3 Snow White Slumber, which is lavender and a sweet lavender and Snow White's Downfall oil blend. And I think Snow White's Downfall is a blend of all of her apple oils that she has, if I'm correct. And for those of you that don't know, L3 is staying open, so that's my favorite. That is my favorite lavender of all time is Snow White Slumber. Part of it's because it is Snow White and she's my favorite princess, but that is the most beautiful lavender. I was very sad to see Lavender Cotton go, but I'm okay because I do know that I have plenty of other lavender scents to warm. And I'm just happy to have gone through, and so it's in my bedroom tonight. Perfect Day was also done in my bedroom. Like I said, I've discovered the testers work great in that warmer dish as well. Anyway, so only 4 fragrance empties, 3 little testers, and a wallflower bulb, and then 1 cotton cleanup, and then a 20-minute ramble about my radio station. But you guys, like I said, you know where you're at. And you know why you're here. And you know that I'm going to share all the things. You also, I hope at this point, know that I love you. And if not, let me tell you now. I love you, friends. And until next time, have a blessed day on purpose.